What did we do? Chapter 3? Chapter 2?
We did a new. So was there one? There was one called a new beginning, and there was another called a new friend, and the friend was not Shannon. So we still don't know if.
The new friend is the next one, I think.
Oh, we did a new friend.
Excuse me. Are you questioning my memory?
I'm fairly sure we did a new friend. Because the new friend is
It's a new beginning.
Oh, who was the new friend? I forgot the new friend already. The new friend was Garp. That's right. New friend was Garp, and Beatrice was talking about how. Well, Beatrice. What is it? What is the new name now? Claire. Claire von Besselstein. Something. What was she saying? She was saying that most of her friends were not human. Right? No.
Maybe. She only. Wait. Okay. It's too early, my brain is not working.
I think
I'm
I
trying to
might
remember
be
what comes
right.
next. Trying to remember where we go from here. So we're getting a time skip now.
Wait, what? Oh, true.
The months and years slid by.
Is it still
Do you see the narrator on the screen? Yes, you do.
I didn't even get to finish my question. My voice is still not fully back, by the way, so if I can't do the voices, that's why.
My voice is kind of... I don't know.
You're still waking up, too. Oh, what was that? That was a weird skip. Okay. The months and years slid by. In my new, more colourful life, I smiled at the spring sunshine peeking through the trees, gazed up at the column of summer clouds, enjoyed the piles of fallen leaves in autumn, and played in the winter snow the few times it did fall. As these days passed, one after another, there was a considerable change to my environment. The servants coming from the Fukuin house had switched. There weren't specific grades like in school, so there was no rule saying how long a servant could work before quitting. Each servant made their own decision about when they would graduate from Rikenjima. Some of those who couldn't stand the environment would quit in as little as 3 days.
Remind you of someone.
Sorry?
Totally.
After all, life on Rikenjima was strict. It was also strict in the Fukuin house, of course, but there were a lot of Rikenjima-only rules, and Natsuhi, the one who supervised the servants, was also very authoritarian. It was probably easy to feel trapped. That trapped feeling and the money sat on opposite sides of the scale that they used to decide the time of their graduation. And sometimes someone from the Ushiromiya family would use their influence to secure someone a new job, encouraging them to spread their wings and start a new life. The cycle usually lasted 2 or 3 years. No one decided this, but it was one of the goals most servants shot for, an unspoken rule. However, I was an exception to that rule. I continued to go to school on Nijima while still living as a servant. That year, all of the Fukuin house servants quit at once. It wasn't at all rare for friends to quit at the same time as each other. All of my fellow servants from the Fukuin house graduated from the island at once, leaving only me behind. Of course, I wasn't on particularly good terms with them. On the contrary, it was annoying to be treated like a kid and called Yasu all the time. Though some new servants had come after me, the older ones had already gotten them believing that Yasu loses things all the time. So it wasn't really any more pleasant to have new comrades. Those unpleasant older servants, as well as the ones who started at the same time, or after I did, all quit at once. The Ushirimiya family made no effort to stop them from leaving. Adult servants were easier to handle in the first place. The Fukuin house servants were only accepted so that they could be trained. And so, all of the servants besides me left, and no one tried to stop them.
Lay down, Yasu! Don't go leaving stuff again!
I don't lose things anymore.
Later. Make sure you listen to what Madam says. Don't you go troubling the next group of servants.
It still is a mystery. Why was Yasu recommended for this job?
It's even more surprising that Madam let Yasu stay this long.
It must have taken some guts to not give up and run away. Keep it up, Yasu. I hate being called Yasu. At the very end, I finally said the one thing I'd always wanted to say to them. However, they basically ignored me and just picked up their things and left. I guess you never got a chance to become friends with them. I didn't even want to. Yeah, I'm sure they feel the same way, so you're even. That's a bit harsh. Let's just forget about these people. They no longer have anything to do with us. So there's no reason to think about them. Yeah. You're right. I felt just a bit disappointed. I never got a chance to prove to them that I could take care of myself. It's hard for people to throw off their first impressions. That's just how it is. No matter how wonderfully you grow. Those people would have probably always called you Yasu and made fun of you. There's no reason for you to want their admiration. Yes. Yeah, you're right, Shannon. I'll completely forget about those people. Good. You have two great friends, Kumasawa-san and me. And if you want to prove that you can take care of yourself, prove it to the new servants who are coming. Shannon was exactly right. Ever since that day when I held the key with the spiderweb charm up high, I had regained my confidence and pride. I am now the most experienced Fukuin servant. The new servants who come will probably still be older than me, but I need to teach them the ropes as the more experienced servant. Genji-sama told me to lead the newer servants as a senpai. Okay, I'll give it my all. That's the right attitude. Let's give it our all together. Yes.
Said yeah, actually.
Yes.
My name is Asne. Pleased to meet
Is this
you.
a new character?
No, these are still the stakes.
I can't remember who they are.
Lust and... what's it? Gluttony. Remember her hair is like bagels or something.
My name is Belny. Pleased to meet you. The newly arrived servants looked a bit superficial. So are we going to go through meeting all of the stakes then? Becky?
Think so. I can't exactly remember.
When I first joined the Ushiromiya family, I was incredibly nervous. However, I couldn't see any trace of that nervousness on these girls.
That's right. Usually, kids with good grades and behavior were selected.
How were they selected? Who did it?
The board of directors came and interviewed them. And they were judged on other things, like their everyday conduct.
So, as long as they acted like good kids in front of the adults, they could pass?
Well, there were times that they passed because the adults watching them decided they would do fine.
All of the children who came from the Fukuen house were highly individualistic. They polished that attitude while they worked as servants, and eventually grew to be servants who would not shame the Ushiromiya family. However, encouraging this behavior was the role of the more experienced servants. Since I was the only one with experience, it was my responsibility to guide them.
What were the new kids like?
They were the elite, of course, of irreproachable conduct.
I think they were like that when Madam and Kenji-sama were around. However, when their superiors weren't around, well, they didn't take things quite as seriously. Asne-san, make sure you put your tools on the cart when you're done using them.
Huh? Sure, sorry.
I also have to be alert as a more experienced servant. And Belne-san, you shouldn't set your key down in a place like that.
Anything weird there?
The girl responded to Shannon?
Yeah, so... And then it went on to... narrator Yasu talking to Belnet. So I'm not sure, it's kind of like they're kind of fitting into that Shannon role, and it's kind of like Shannon's talking through Yasu or something.
Yeah. You'll lose it. I'm not gonna lose it. I never forget where I put things. When I first arrived here, the older servants would often tell me off just as I had done now. They would probably have been mean and obnoxious about it. I had hated that, so I tried to be more gentle when admonishing them, but they wouldn't take me seriously. Listen up. You know there's a witch living in the mansion, don't you? Oh, Beatrice!
That sounded just like him.
Don't tell me you believe in that too, Shannon-chan.
Yes, she really exists. If you leave things lying around, the witch will prank you and hide them.
It's true. I've gotten into trouble many times because of it.
A witch hiding things?
That's totally impossible. After all, there's no way witches... That's you.
There's no way witches could exist. There's no way they could exist. Witches.
I thought they were just pranks. No, it was just easier to think of it that way. When is she going to be like, I'm hungry?
Do you think the witch Beatrice actually existed? I don't believe it.
I don't know if it was Beatrice, but I do think that something inhuman really did exist in that mansion. Do you think there's a chance that this non-human thing was a Beatrice? Was Beatrice?
Ridiculous.
I wish I could say it was ridiculous.
That must have been a prank of Yasu's. No, not a prank. Revenge.
I didn't think that at first, but...
Did something happen that couldn't be explained away as a prank?
it was persistent and creepy. What kind of things happened specifically? Things I set down would disappear as soon as I looked away for a second.
Didn't Yasu just hide them?
I thought so at first. It was only natural to think that. But I started getting this feeling that something wasn't right. I kept thinking, could such a timid kid really get away with something so obnoxious?
Can you tell us what happened?
When my key ring disappeared, it was easy to think that Yasu snatched it when I wasn't looking. But when a single key disappeared off my key ring and reappeared somewhere completely different, I couldn't think of it that way.
Maybe Yasu just pulled that one key off while you weren't looking.
Is that even possible, practically speaking? Hiding the whole ring is one thing. But if you really think about it, taking a single key off the key ring isn't that easy. The keys would clatter together. I was standing right next to them, just facing the other way. Get it? If you took your time removing a key when I was that close, even an idiot like me would have noticed. But a single key just vanished without a sound. At that moment, I finally realized this wasn't Yasu trying to get back at me. It was something worse. And where did you find this disappearing key? It was in my locker.
Well, you can be pretty absent-minded down there. Are you sure you didn't just take that key off and put it in your locker?
Why would I take the key off that ring? Have you ever taken a key off or put a key on your key ring, Asne? I tried doing it myself. It's really stiff. I'd never go to all that trouble. There'd be no point. Am I a sleepwalker or something? How could I not remember something I've done? I may be stupid, but I'm not that stupid. I don't forget about things I do that easily. And anyway, I know I had my key with me when I entered the room. Otherwise, how could I have unlocked the door?
Okay then. Yasu, careful not to make any sound. Slip the key off and hid it in your locker. That has to be it.
kind of potentially could have been like the key fell off and Yasu or someone found it and knew who it belonged to and just put it in the locker. So it was there the next time and not lost. Like, it seems kind of nice. A nice thing to do.
Nice.
Yes. That's what I thought at first. I jumped at Yasu, telling that kid not to mess with me. But even as I said it, I realized, isn't there something completely wrong here? After all, on that day, we were cleaning that room with Yasu the whole time, right? There wouldn't have been time for Yasu to noisily remove the key. It was impossible for Yasu. In fact, it should have been impossible for anyone.
But maybe the ring was missing a master key when you got it?
I already told you. The key really was there in the beginning. I was the one who unlocked that room. So it must have been there. And then I went into the room. I'm stupid, and since I hate having the keys cluttering around, I placed the ring on the bed. Then, when we finished cleaning, I picked up the ring, tried to lock the door, and it was gone! I may have turned my back on the ring, but it was right next to me. So if someone tried to pull a prank by removing just one key, I'd have heard the clinking. And yet just the key for that room vanished and appeared again in my locker.
So, okay, let's say that Yasu managed to sneak it away. It's easier to think of it that way, but no, it's you, I think.
But still, how could Yasu have put it in my locker? Yasu and I were together the whole time, right? When I started yelling about it being gone and ran all over the place looking for it, Yasu was with me until the moment I found it in my locker. Get it? I'm telling you, it's impossible. Even as I jumped at Yasu, I began to feel it. I mean, Yasu's eyes seemed to be saying it silently. According to Yasu, the reason things used to go missing all the time wasn't because Yasu was forgetful, as everyone said, but actually, it was because impossible things would suddenly happen just like they had to me. And is this when Garp enters? No? Yasu was with you the whole time, so there was no chance for Yasu to put the key in the locker?
Did other strange things like that happen?
Yeah, they did. Afterwards, other things happened, and not just things disappearing. Over and over. Of course, I started getting nervous and made sure not to put things down in places like that, but that didn't help. At first, I was angry at Yasu, but at some point I began to realize that I was mistaken. One time a key even disappeared from a ring that I'd left in my pocket. Then I realized these weren't Yasu's pranks. The same thing that happened to Yasu was now happening to me.
Calm down a bit. I think some of those were Yasu's fault, and the others were just you being clumsy. It's true that the mansion's always dark and eerie, and it does feel like the sort of place you'd find a curse. I'm sure that's what made you scared like that.
You saw it too, didn't you? Remember that vanishing white shadow we saw in the VIP room that rainy day?
Yes, I saw. But couldn't that have just been Madame or Milady wearing something white?
What do you mean, something white? Have you ever seen either of them wearing something like that? And besides, that VIP room is always locked. They don't have keys to it. That had to be some kind of ghost. No, the silhouette of the witch.
So basically, Belne started acting like this. Totally scared. I've got more street smarts than her, so the more scared she was, the more I thought that witches were stupid and couldn't exist. Still, I had to be careful about what I said. I realized that this wasn't something I should talk about carelessly. All ghost stories and curses sound stupid to outsiders, but to the people who believe in them, it's absolutely not a joking matter. It really was. No joke.
Asne didn't believe a word of what I said, so I eventually stopped telling her about it and confessed to Yasu instead. I told Yasu I thought you were the culprit, but it couldn't have been you. I said that something strange was happening to me.
And what was that kid's answer?
Yasu said the same thing had happened many times already, but no one else believed any of it. In the first place, the older servants always made fun of Yasu, but that kid clearly wasn't as clumsy or stupid as they said. I hated having a younger person tell me what to do, so I always resisted, but Yasu always got our work done flawlessly. I've always thought it strange that people made fun of Yasu for losing things. I was sure then it existed. Some strange, inhuman thing existed in this mansion. And that thing was the witch, Beatrice. If that's what you want to call it, I'll believe it. Anyway, something that couldn't be explained away by human actions definitely existed there. People who didn't understand kept calling Yasu and me forgetful. They didn't get it. They didn't get it.
Still, it did freak you out for a while, but then you got a lot better. After that, all that fuss about you losing things went away, right? So it must have been your imagination all the time.
You're wrong! I talked to Yasu, to Shannon, and Kumasawa-san, and the others about it. And they said that the witch really did exist. The old servants all made sure to respect her. They said I'd been cursed because I'd stupidly gone around saying that Beatrice didn't exist. So I reformed. Yasu taught me how to give offerings to the doll in the VIP room. I asked Genji-sama for permission and prayed at the shrine by the sea. And then it all stopped, all at once. You were okay, Asne, since you stopped making fun of the witch partway through. But if you'd cluelessly gone on making fun of her, you'd surely be cursed by You'd surely have been cursed next. Yes, I guarantee it. You definitely would have been cursed.
I guess. Even I was creeped out by you two. I never said it out loud, but...
You just don't get it. You really don't. So I made sure to teach all the newer servants as well. A witch called Beatrice Summer lives in this mansion. If you make fun of her, you really will be cursed.
Belne.
When things disappeared, that was a sign that the witch was close by and watching us. If you said it was a prank or that witches couldn't exist, you'd be cursed even more. It was like that for both Yasu and me. When the key disappeared, that was a sign that the witch had appeared. Belna carelessly tossed her keyring on the bed again, humming as she started to clean.
This is Yasu.
Oh, really? No matter how much I warn her, she doesn't change her ways. She's always making fun of me and calling me Yasu, so she won't listen to what I tell her. Why won't she listen to what I say? You mustn't leave things lying carelessly around. If you lower your guard, the witch will prank you.
Look at that delicious keyring.
Stop it, please. That's Belne-san's key. Keep your pricking to me alone. Let the others be.
Without cautious, you've grown. You're no fun anymore. Just kidding. Still, how unpleasant these people are, refusing to listen to my friend's kindly advice. Any insult to my friend, I take as an insult to myself.
Are you planning to steal Belne-san's key? Please, don't do it. She'll think I hid it again.
She thinks my magic is naught but the scheme of a child like you? Very well then. Let's just show her something that would be impossible for a human. Let's show her my magic. Foolish Belne. I'll make you regret not listening to my friend's advice. This flimsy body is not enough. I'm borrowing yours. It's been too long since I've shown you real magic. Let my body return to the land of the living for just a moment. Interesting.
A shiver ran up my whole body like an electric shock. From that moment onwards, I couldn't move any part of my body by my own will, like a moment of shock after a blackout. I could do nothing but accept the fact that I had lost control over myself. All of the cells throughout my body felt tingly. It felt as though my body had been transformed into someone else's. I realized that the witch Beatrice was using my body as a vessel to revive for a short period of time.
Very nice. That ticklish feeling of the air on my skin. Having a body is simply wonderful.
What are you trying to do? Please don't do anything mean. This time, everything was backwards. My words were spoken inside my heart, and the witch's voice was coming out of my mouth.
Fear not. I'll give your body back soon enough. I just need to teach her a lesson with a little prank. I won't do anything foolish that might earn you her suspicion. Come, try and remember. Where have you been sleeping?
Everything went completely white, and my mind stopped. Once again, that tingling sensation slid up my body. I could feel it gathered in the fingers of both my hands, and come out the tips of my fingers. It was unfathomable, indescribable, unknown sensation. My head went blank and I couldn't think at all. I could do nothing but abandon my soul to the sensation. I finally understood. This is what it's like to use magic.
Come, try and remember. Where have you been sleeping?
My fingers were moved like a puppet's and danced around as though I was conducting music. I never knew that having my body move without my control could be so exciting. When Beato lifted my finger as if a string was attached to it, The key ring lying on the bed stood on end. Bone-san didn't notice. Neither did Osne-san. They were fully occupied by their happy chat as they cleaned the room. I doubt that either of them would have dreamed that a witch was right behind them, readying herself to use magic. They probably couldn't even imagine the key doing a little dance right behind their backs. It was like a cartoon fairy tale I'd once seen as a kid. The happy ways the keys danced and spun made it look as though they had a will of their own. I could feel the fun of making those keys dance with my fingers wash over me. Yes, this is pleasure, as I powerlessly watch the witch control me. I couldn't help but surrender myself to this new joy called magic.
Whoops, that won't do. If the whole ring disappears, my friend will be suspected again. All we need... Yes. We just need the key to this room to disappear.
Beato controlled my fingers, controlling the magic, and thereby controlling the keys. The keyring slumped down on the bed, and then just the mansion's master key stood on end.
Well now, what shall we do with this? Really erasing it would be quite boring. So, why don't I throw it into a locker? This will give my friend who's been working here with her the whole time a splendid alibi. Come, try and remember. Where have you been sleeping? Yes, it was a warm, dark place. The inside of Belner's locker.
When Beato snapped her fingers, the key burst and became a gold butterfly. A gold butterfly? I see. It's gold because she's the golden witch who gave the master all his gold. And butterflies are scared of spider webs. So it's a gold butterfly. The minions of the witch Beatrice are gold butterflies. After flitting into the air, it burst into a shower of gold sparks and disappeared. And then the vanished key was in Bone-san's locker. Though it was far away in a changing room locker, I could tell exactly how it had happened. It wasn't by sight or by touch. It was some other senses inside my heart which couldn't be explained by the five senses. A completely new sensation that I'd never felt before. It was the completely alien concept called magic. A completely unknown pleasure that left me in a trance.
That's enough, my friend. I'll give this body back to you.
It felt as though I had been spinning through space until gravity suddenly came back and threw me to the ground. Like when you're having a great dream, but you wake up suddenly, and all you remember about the dream was that it was fun. that sort of lonely feeling. Though Beato had been borrowing my body, it was my own body that used magic. I could still feel that sensation in my hands. The keyring over there had danced along with the movements of my fingers. No, that's not it. Not quite right. The keyring and the fingers. Wait. The keyring. I just think I just transported myself to a different story for a second there. Let me sit up. I am getting tired. Alright. Okay. I am up. The keyring and my fingers had danced together. That fun, that excitement, still tinkled slightly in my hands. Whoops, that was close. Saying this, Mone-san suddenly turned around and picked up the keyring she had thrown down on the bed. She must have realized that I was staring at it. Almost said Yasu complained that I shouldn't leave the keys lying about like this. I'd never put something down and forget about it. With a grin, she put the key back into her pocket. However, she still hadn't noticed. She probably couldn't even imagine that a single key had just vanished while her back was turned for a second. It's not easy for a human to do things like that. But with magic, with just a little dance of the keys and a butterfly popping, it had disappeared.
Okay, fingertip inspection. Bed okay. Curtains okay.
Tools okay. And keys too. See? Nothing wrong, right? Yes, that's good. Then let's go on to the next room. Belne-san, could you look up this room for me? Oh, that's just mean! Sure. Did Belne-san's key really disappear by magic? Was that fun magic just a daydream I had? I was so scared of that being true that I tested it. Huh?
What's wrong? Why are you taking so long?
Wait, are you kidding me? What's wrong? It's not this one, and it isn't this one. What the?
What is it? Do you want me to lock it?
I don't get it. What's going on? My master key is gone. Just my master key is gone. Why? This ring's so stiff. There's no way it'd come off. I could faintly feel that tingling sensation run across my fingers again. That night.
Just quickly.
Yeah?
Actually, not quickly. So before they were talking about... Well, they were talking to Shannon and Yasu.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just trying to get my own head around it. I'm just like... Because I'm still with the idea that Shannon is, an ideal Yasu, I guess you could say.
Mm.
That's just in Yasu's own head.
Yeah.
But then you saw them like mention Shannon's name even.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I'm going by my own like perspective of it, it's probably that when the new servants came in, like they introduced themselves as Shannon. Like my name
Yeah.
is Shannon.
Yeah.
And then they also had like the older servants who were like, yeah, we call him Yasu. This is Yasu and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So-
I actually did have a similar thought to that.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's how it is.
Okay.
Because I think it was Asne who said Shannon, and then Belne said Yasu. And that kind of makes more sense with Belne being the one who got, like, who lost her
Pranked.
key. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole thing with the key. It's like, you gotta remember, we're dealing with the Beatrice. And you know what Beatrice's goal is, right? To, like, have everyone recognize...
Believe in Beatrice.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if it did come down to just like that Beatrice had really good sleight of hand as well.
You could... That's a possibility.
Because they're like, we know that they can do sleight of hand magic with the teacup lolly thing that they did with Maria.
I mean, that one's pretty easy to do, because they literally had Maria close her
I
eyes.
know. There is that, but just like little... I thought like there was a time when Beatrice like magicked a candy out of air, not like the teacup one, but like magicked one and gave it to Maria.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, like, you're dealing with Maria, who is very impressionable and will do what you say if she believes you're the Beatrice. And so
But
it could
couldn't
have been
they-
a similar thing.
It could have been a similar, but I could also see them doing like the
Yeah, I could.
what is
totally
that
see it too,
generic magic trick where they're like, what's this
like it's like
your ear?
behind your hand or something like that.
Yeah, and doing that. I can see Maria just being like, oh my goodness, it's magic! Teach
Yeah.
me more!
What I was getting at with, like, we're dealing with the Beatrice who wants, people to recognize her existence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why these pranks are going on, right?
It's the recruiting process.
Well, Belne was like, it couldn't have been Yasu. Like, in the end, she was like, it couldn't have been Yasu.
Mm.
But, like, it was Yasu.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes. But how did they do
And-
it?
Well, can you think of a way? I can think of a way. There's, like, straight up
Well-
just good sleight of hand. That's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
The way I'm thinking about it is... This was all
They-
premeditated.
I was just about to say they could have put their master key. This
Yeah.
is the master key, we know. They could have put their master key in the locker.
Yeah.
And then kept the master key from Belner for themselves.
So, yeah. So, I think the way I assume it happened is she took the master key off of her own ring. Well, they took the master key off of their own ring, and I assume they gave it to, like, Kumasawa or Genji or something, the master key.
Mm.
And then, like, once they had all left to go clean the room, they had one of those servants put the key in Belnir's locker.
Mm.
And then when they saw the key lying on the bed, They just swapped the key rings because they had one less key and that one was a full key.
Yeah.
That's how I assume it was done, at least. Could have been different.
How would they have done it without making noise, though?
Well, that's the thing. Like, you could remove the key even without making noise or much noise.
Mm.
Like, I'm just thinking of how I could do it, and it was just like, you can, I don't know, if you grab it by the keys and not the ring itself, and you kind of like softly bring it, I don't know. It's possible, but I assume the other more, I don't know, the other method is probably what happened.
Mm.
And I would say Kumasawa would have been the person to do it because they were friends with Kumasawa. And Kumasawa likes playing those pranks
like,
and stuff.
Yeah, probably like, ooh, a prank. Oh my.
I feel young again.
True, that's true. It's all nostalgic. And I guess potentially she would be feeling pretty, how would she be feeling? Like, she probably has a special place for Yasu, Claire, Beatrice. Just knowing that it's the child of the master that she served and Chick Beatrice.
Yeah.
Because she knew that, right? Wait,
yeah.
did all the servants know?
Genji, Kumasawa, and Nanjo are the other ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like, it was a perfect opportunity to like, kind of disprove the trash talk she was getting from the older servants.
Yeah, that's true.
Be like, see, I wasn't crazy all along. I wasn't just forgetful. It really was just a witch or something like that.
It was you!
Yeah. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
My glasses are legit not where they're supposed to be. This is kind of worrying. Because if they're on the floor, I have no idea where they are.
Beatrice.
It's Beatrice! Beatrice has taken my glasses!
Well,
No!
it was Kumasawa
Oh my goodness.
living in your room.
I've got so much stuff stacked on my couch. Oh no. It's bad, Ducky, because... Oh wait, is that them? Oh thank goodness. They could have got crushed. That would be really bad. I have, because my laptop heats up so quickly, I have, it's like right in front of the air conditioner, and you know this, like I use the air conditioner as like an external fan for my laptop. But that means...
Switch.
yeah, I know. I feel like the air conditioner is a little bit better because it has like temperature control. However, what that also means is that the air bounces off the screen and hits me in the eyeballs and makes it really dry, which then makes me tired. Because I just want to close my eyes. You'll have to cut this bit out.
I'm not cutting anything.
Cut it out, Ducky. Please. Okay. Ready, steady, go. That night, as I gazed at the ceiling from my bed in my dorm room, I looked at my hands. These wonderful magical sleight of hand hands. I couldn't sleep. The excitement from the time those geese danced was still there in my fingers. It's the dancing that made me think they had really good sleight of hands. And I kind of had this image of this little kid, like, holding the master key up and, like, just behind that back being like, no, 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 no. I have the key. What are you going to do about it? Like, it was a little punk. Is this how Beatrice, how witches always feel? I have a friend who's a witch called Beatrice. She used to pull pranks on me with her strange magic. Because I saw this all the time, I thought I knew what magic was. But today, she had possessed my body and used magic with it. The sensation of magic that I finally felt at that time still held my hand, still held my heart entranced. It was a completely unknown pleasure. After all, by moving my fingertips, I could make the key dance as I wished. It was a strange, strange miracle of magic, something humans could not do. I still couldn't let go of that excitement. Shannon, are you awake? This is like, bing! I'm awake!
What is it?
Shannon was still awake. She did not look still awake. She looked like she'd been working up.
It's just like a toy. Like one of those battery-powered ones. You just flick the switch.
Oh my goodness.
It's a walking robot.
The possessed Furby that wakes up in the middle of the night and is like...
I feel like that is like the first time humanity has actually created something legitimately cursed. Those things were insane. Like, it wasn't even just ours. Like, literally every Furby in the world was somehow
Everyone
this
had
cursed.
some, like, weird, spooky, like, horror story with Furbies. Do they
Yeah.
still make Furbies? Do people even buy
I
them?
think they do, but they're like way different.
They had to move away from the cursedness of the design. Shannon was still awake. Shannon is always early to bed, early to rise. By getting to bed early, all of her weariness disappears by the next day. She lives a model life, one that all servants should respect and admire. If I want to become loved, respected, a servant like Shannon, I'll need to act that way too. However, I wasn't confident that I could do the same anymore. I guess I can't become like you, after all.
What do you mean? This is a bit abrupt.
You were my ideal,
That's right.
always.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Fukuen house loves you, and is kind to you. Since you always played with me, you're the only friend I've ever had. What happened to Garp?
You're still there. I just lost you.
I read it.
Okay.
And you're also a wonderful servant, who can carry out any task in the Ushiromiya mansion, both flawlessly and gracefully. You were the target I longed to reach. That's what you were to me.
Yeah.
Shannon!
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm perfect, okay? That's why George-san loves me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, let's give it our all together. As they say, perseverance prevails. Everyone will grow to acknowledge you more and more. So, let's aim to become wonderful servants together.
I'm gonna stop being a servant.
Huh?
Instead of a servant, I'd rather be a witch.
What do you mean by a witch?
I did and still do. Wish I could be a servant loved and relied upon by everybody. But right now, I want to be a witch. Even more.
Well, that's, huh?
Shannon was confused. It was hardly surprising. All this about quitting as a servant was at least understandable. But she didn't know how to answer after hearing that her roommate wanted to become a witch. A witch. Beatrice. You see, today Beatrice possessed me and used my body to do magic. That unknown world felt so thrilling. It was much more thrilling when I learned that I had been selected as an Ushirimiya family servant. It was like learning about a new world, as though I'd been living in a world of darkness all my life and thought I knew what the world was like. Then finally learned what light was and saw the world for the first time. It was joy, excitement. Beato had only used my fingers, made a keyring dance, and turned a key into a butterfly before hiding it in a locker. But I had understood it with my body. If I had moved my fingers a different way, the ring could have flown into the air instead of just dancing. And I could have turned it into a scurrying lizard instead of a butterfly. I could have done anything. True, Beatrice's magical power was still weak. It all happened in the little world behind the backs of the servants who were filled with anti-magic toxin. However, inside that tiny, short-lived world, I could do anything at all. Beato just happened to settle on making them dance and turning the key into a butterfly. But if she'd wanted to, she could have done anything else. The endless sensation of that free, unrestricted power. I could still feel it in my fingertips. Could it be that, along with that sensation, a fragment of that magical power might also remain? I can tell it's still there. There's still just a bit of it there, along with that sensation. I can do it. I can still do it.
My eyes.
A single spot of golden light suddenly lit up in this dark room. It was right between my clasped hands. When I slowly opened them, I could see a single dot that sparked gold.
What? Yes.
Shannon didn't know what the light meant. How could light appear from the palm of my hands? And yet, even with this miracle right in front of her, she couldn't understand what it was. She just sat there with her mouth open in disbelief. However, to me, this was just the return of that bit of sensation in my fingertips. The golden dot spread out and became a small gold butterfly. It flapped its wings and scattered gold sparks about like a cartoon fairy. To Shannon, it probably looked as though a gold butterfly was flapping its wings. Of course, that alone was a miracle that she could hardly grasp. But to me, it was like a remote control plane in the shape of a butterfly. I could control that gold butterfly however I wanted. not clumsily with threads. I could make it flap, dance, play through the air as I wished. I was taking a walk through the air as that little butterfly. The golden glint of it pierced the darkness of the small room as it danced about freely. It was an entrancing pleasure. However, that sensation in my fingers began to weaken. I could tell that the few magic butterfly scales left in my fingers were going away. Do butterflies have scales?
Maybe.
Finally, the gold butterfly flashed and turned to dust like a firework run out of juice, falling down and disappearing without a trace. What on earth just happened? This is magic. It's really fun.
Magic?
Yes, magic. There was still some magic left in my fingers, so I was able to use it. But if I become a real witch, I'll be able to use it whenever and however I want, to do anything. Now that I've learned how fun this can be, I don't want to go back to being human. Being a servant is just too boring. So I'm going to become a witch.
Become a witch? Wait.
I've already made my decision, Shannon. It's been fun. I'll give you this room. You can use it by yourself. Later. Goodbye.
But wait.
As Shannon called out repeatedly for me to wait, a massive planetarium swallowed me up. In the sea of the pitch-black starry sky, I was alone. We are alone here. I'm done acting the part of the servant. I'm going to modify this world.
Indeed. Understood. In that case, what will you do?
Being a wonderful servant like Shannon wouldn't be bad. But now that I know how fun it is to be a witch, that feels like a boring dream. I can't go back anymore.
What will happen to Shannon?
Shannon can just be Shannon and stay as a respected servant. She'll stay the same. But from now on, it won't be the two of us together, but her alone.
Farewell's a sudden, is that not the phrase? Very well. Being fickle makes life more entertaining. And what of you?
I want to become a witch. I want to become Beato.
But I'm already Beatrice.
You'll still be a witch and my friend. I'm modifying the world so that Beato is me.
So I'll be a witch who is a friend of Beatrice.
Pretty much. So from now on, you're a different witch. I understand.
No, it's still...
Oh, dang it.
I understand. Now, what will be my new name?
I'll put that on hold until I can think of one. You'll be nameless for a while. Sorry about the trouble.
Not at all. This is my precious name we're talking about. You had better take your time and think carefully about it.
You're following, right? right?
Kind of. Yes, I think. Who is this, though? right
This
now.
would be the creator.
You've been Beatrice's friend since she was young and couldn't use magic yet. When we first met each other, you'd always hide things. When we'd first met each other, you'd always hide my things. And make fun of me.
I see. And when Beatrice finally learned the ways of magic, I become a friend on equal footing with her. Perhaps that would make me a sort of big sister to you.
Yes, that sounds nice. What are we going to do about how we talk?
Beatrice's voice is that of a woman of a high station. Shall I give that to you as well?
The voice I gave Beatrice is not of a woman of high station. Yes, I'll inherit the way she talks, which I have already been doing. Dang it, Techie, we should have done a different voice.
Hey, you said you didn't want to do
Is this Gob?
it. Yes.
Indeed, I comprehend. Or perhaps I shouldn't say it like that. I'll need to find a good way to sound like Beatrice's big sister-like witch friend.
Yes. Or should it be... Indeed.
Now, there's a nice dignified voice.
Okay, then how about... No, wait. Then what of my appearance?
Good point. I've got a sort of blood red witch look. Why not choose a different colour for yourself?
Who is
Beatrice.
actual Beatrice?
Beatrice.
Beatrice. When Beatrice wanders the mansion at night, she is often seen dressed in white.
Yes, I suppose ghosts are classically white. A witch.
A witch. In a white dress, let's try putting it all together. I need a different look than that witch in the demon red dress. A white, noble witch. Unlike the time with the red witch, I'm thinking about my own look now. So I'd like to make it beautiful and cute if I can. A white dress. A noble look. Like one of noble blood, but with a dark, sarcastic streak. No, she's like a tomboy princess, so her voice is a mix of formality and rudeness. Then the dress should be the exact opposite, to make a nice contrast. Then what of this form? Is this the form of the new Beatrice?
How beautiful. Just like a noble princess.
I've taken a liking to this form. This will be quite satisfactory.
Not bad. You look great, Beato.
I like it. I truly do like this form.
Now, if you can keep this up and give me a wonderful name, that'd be great. If I have to go around nameless for too long, I'll get all sulky.
Fear not, I shall find you a splendid name. But first, there is something I must consider. What shall be the form of my magic? Hiding objects and transporting them instantaneously. is your theme. So I must think of my own particular theme of magic. When I use magic, gold butterflies will flit about. I'm not backing down on that part.
Perfect. That really would make you a golden witch. Then the weaknesses such as spiderwebs and the sacred mirror in the shrine will also go to you?
Indeed. Even an all-powerful witch needs a few small weaknesses to keep things interesting. Then let us do it like so. If I touch a spiderweb, it will burn me. Silently, a silvery spider dropped down vertically. Beato, now in her new form, lightly touched the spider web, silver, then trailed out behind it. As she did, there was a faint sound of flesh burning, and a thin burn was left across her fingers. Beatrice can't stand spiderwebs. That was one of the weaknesses of the evil spirits Kumasawa-san spoke of. Since the witch Beatrice had revived, thanks to the power of those evil spirits, she had also inherited their weaknesses. Therefore, sacred mirrors are another one of my weaknesses. However, that sacred mirror in the shrine isn't too likely to appear in front of me often. That's not fun. Then, while mirrors with sacred power will obviously be a weakness, let us make mirrors themselves a weakness too.
You often hear that mirrors have magical powers. Isn't that nice? Sounds just like a witch.
If I look at the mirror, it feels as though my magical power is being sucked out, so I shall try to avoid them. Indeed, that could be quite amusing. If I really think about it, I'm bad with mirrors whether I make that a rule or not. No matter who I want or strive to be. The only face that will ever show in a mirror is the heartlessly pathetic and realistic face of Yasu. Mirrors which always force me to face my shabby reality as something I've always wanted to avoid. That's right. I hate mirrors. I don't want to see my pitiful self.
You don't need to decide everything at once. It's fun to build up a world one little bit at a time.
True. I understand. I shall enjoy life as a witch as I slowly expand my world.
That tiny dark room is no place for you to sleep now.
Indeed, I am the Golden Witch. I am the ruler of Rikenjima's night, and the nighttime mansion belongs to me. That is where I should make my home, is it not?
A room for Beatrice? Haha, isn't it obvious?
Yeah, that's right. That wonderful room on the second floor of the mansion.
The VIP room of the witch just has to be Beatrice's room.
Oh, that's right. From this evening forward, that room in the nighttime mansion shall be my dwelling place. Why didn't I think of that myself? Ha 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 ha!
Let's go, Beato. If we're going to drink tea together, we'll need a much better room than that cramped one.
Indeed. That room is too crude for entertaining friends and serving tea. We should change rooms. Let us go, my friend.
So, this is goodbye to Shannon.
When I looked at my feet, I could see my own dorm room far beneath me. I could see Shannon, who had dashed up to the bed I lay on and had been saying, "Wait." At the moment, time froze. She was as rigid as a doll. Looking down at it from this height, it really did look like a small dollhouse. So long, Shannon. The days I spent as a human, with you as a goal and a constant comfort, were truly fun. If I had never learned the joys of magic and awakened as a witch, everything would doubtless have remained as it was. I was your only close friend too, wasn't I? Please forgive me for erasing that friend so suddenly. As a parting gift, I will erase me from your world. Starting now, this will not be a two-person room. It will be a single-person room with just you in it.
I hope you can continue to strive for your ideal and try to become
Wait, that's not Shannon, is it? Is it?
No.
I hope you continue to strive for your ideal and try to become a kind, reliable servant, loved by everyone. Yasu, the stupid, clumsy servant who lost things all the time, doesn't exist anymore. So long, Shannon. When I mature as the witch Beatrice and stride through the nighttime mansion, where I may bump into you as you do your nighttime rounds. However, when I meet you again, it will not be a reunion. It will be our first meeting. After all, though you have heard the rumors of the witch Beatrice, you have never met her. So long, Shannon. Let us meet again sometime and spin up some fun tale.
Pretty sure I'd done that.
What?
The whole, like, going into your, like, imaginary space and, like, editing stuff. And, like, talking to the things you're editing. You're like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call you this from now on, and your power's gonna be this, and that kind of thing. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wait! Wait! What was I doing? Was I talking in my sleep? Apparently, I had gotten out of bed, stretched my hand towards it, and said, wait. This isn't the first time I've woken up to find myself saying something strange, but I don't remember ever waking up to find myself out of bed and standing up. Could this be what they call sleepwalking? Am I just tired? Go to sleep. Gotta get back to sleep. I turned around to face my bed. My bed wasn't there. There was no bed in this room except for the one I had just turned my back on. If I'm the only one in this room, and the only bed is the one behind me, that must mean it's my bed. That feels wrong for some reason. The bed sheets are all disarranged as though someone had slipped out of them. This is a single person room with me in it, right? So that there is my bed, and the traces of someone crawling out mean that I was just sleeping there until a second ago? But for some reason, that bed doesn't feel like my bed. However, though all the other kids shared rooms, I, Shannon, was given a single-person room. So there's only one bed. And it must be mine. Am I just tired? I wonder. I must just be half asleep. School starts early tomorrow morning, and when school ends, I want to go to the mansion, help out with some work, and talk to Kumazawa-san about the mystery novel I just read.
Does this person have, like, multiple personality disorder or something? Naku? No comment from Decky. Let me see how it is.
It's just like... Did you only just think of this now?
Probably not. I feel like this is more confirming things, that's all.
'Cause this is like... what we've been going on about this whole episode, essentially. Since episode 6, with like the whole...
Yeah, but that could have just been like a thing, but this feels like it's actual, like, personalities.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the point. There are like
Okay.
wordings and stuff with some of the red truths. I don't know.
Oh.
Time to sleep. I'm probably just so worn out that I'm imagining things. Good night, Shannon. Just curl in bed and close your eyes, and you won't have to think about anything complicated. I went back into my bed. Felt a bit uncomfortable to crawl into a bed that wasn't mine. Still, it might just be because I'm getting just so sleepy, but it's starting to feel as though this is my bed after all. I'm just half asleep. I am Shannon, a lonely servant. I mess up from time to time. I fell asleep. I am Shannon, a lonely servant. I mess up from time to time, but I want to become a kind servant whom everyone loves. Good night, me.
Nearly at the end.
I'm holding on too hard right now. It's a very thin string. Oh, I am one yet many. I've had enough of playing the servant. I've had enough of being human. From this night forth, I am Beatrice, the golden witch Beatrice who has lived for 1,000 years. Praise me, servants. Have fear when you are chosen for the night shift. In the nighttime mansion, everything is mine, for that is my time. Oh, I am one yet many. Yes, let our world swallow up everything. It is like the raging seas. Well, now let us drink the mysterious moon dry tonight, with this human book as a side dish. You call this a mystery? You call this a closed room? You call this a crime impossible for humans? Don't make me laugh. With all these holes and weak points, you call this a crime impossible for humans? Is there no splendid closed room magic that can do my name justice? No, not here, not here, not there either. All of them pathetic. It's enough to make one giggle, but now I'm not sure which is the side dish, the moon or the book. If I get tired of mystery, I can change myself into a butterfly. I can flit about the island, the mansion, the vast forest at will. I'll follow those cowardly servants as they do their nighttime rounds. And when they check to see that a window is locked, they'll see me laughing at them in the reflection of the glass. I can be fickle and do as I please. Pranks at night should be a lot of fun. Okay, I've decided. Let's play like that starting tonight. How amusing! What amusement this night shall bring. In the world of witches, the only limits to your fun are the limits of your imagination. My imagination shall become the source of my magical power. Splendid, it shall all be so fun. I shall expand it infinitely and let it swallow the whole island. The island's night will be mine, all mine. Oh, how refined and pleasant are the days of a witch. Oh, I am one yet many. Here's to the wonderful world of witches. What was that?
That was the chapter.
But it didn't end in the usual way.
It was a more... Usually when it's like a high-paced scene, it'll end with the glass shattering.
Ah.
Or maybe the
see.
tension. Whereas the other ones have all been like, oh yes, we're just telling a short story about our lives. Alright. Go and sleep.
I'm a little bit more awake after that Beatrice scene, but yes, I will probably need to have a nap.